The Story of the Princess and the Pea. Once upon a time, there was a prince who wanted nothing more than to marry a real princess. But oh my goodness, he was super picky. He wouldn't settle for just any princess. She had to be a real one. So what did he do? He packed his bags and set off on a great big adventure around the world. Can you imagine traveling everywhere just to find the perfect princess? That's exactly what our prince did. He met princesses in every kingdom he visited. Some were tall, some were short, some had golden hair, and others had dark curls. But something was always not quite right. How could he tell if they were real princesses? After months and months of searching, the poor prince returned to his castle feeling pretty sad. He flopped onto his royal throne and told his parents, "I'll never find a real princess." "Don't worry, son," said the king. "The right princess will come along when you least expect it." And wouldn't you know it, that very night, the sky turned dark and boom, the most terrible storm you've ever seen blew through the kingdom. Lightning flashed across the sky. Zap! Thunder rumbled so loudly it shook the castle walls. Crash! Rain poured down in buckets. Splash! As everyone huddled inside the warm, dry castle, they suddenly heard a sound at the town gate. Knock, knock, knock. Who could that be in such awful weather? Wondered the old king as he hurried to open the gate. And there, standing in the pouring rain, was a young woman who claimed to be a princess. But goodness gracious, what a sight she was! Water dripped from her hair like a waterfall. Her beautiful dress was soaking wet, and her shoes were making little puddles on the ground. "I'm a princess," she said, her teeth chattering from the cold. "May I please come in?" The king welcomed her inside right away. The prince took one look at the rain-soaked visitor and felt his heart skip a beat. Could she be the one he'd been searching for? But the old queen wasn't so easily convinced. She narrowed her eyes and thought to herself, "We'll soon find out if she's a real princess." Without saying a word to anyone, the clever queen sneaked off to prepare the guest bedroom. And what do you think she did? She placed a single tiny pea at the very bottom of the bed. Just one little pea. Then she piled 20 soft mattresses on top of it. And if that wasn't enough, she added 20 fluffy feather beds on top of the mattresses. When bedtime came, they showed the princess to her room. What a tall bed!" exclaimed the princess, staring up at the mountain of mattresses. "Only the best for our royal guest," smiled the queen. "Sleep well." The princess had to climb a ladder just to get to the top, and then everyone went to sleep for the night. Well, almost everyone. The next morning at breakfast, the king, queen, and prince were eager to hear how their guest had slept. "Did you sleep well, my dear?" asked the queen in her sweetest voice. The princess yawned and rubbed her back. "Ouch! Oh, no, not at all. I barely slept a wink all night long." The royal family leaned forward, suddenly very interested. "There was something hard in my bed," the princess continued, wincing as she stretched. "I tossed and turned all night long. Look at my poor arms and legs. They're all black and blue from that horrible thing in my bed. It was absolutely, positively, without a doubt, the most uncomfortable night of my life." The king looked surprised, the prince looked hopeful, and the queen looked delighted. You see, friends, only a real princess could be sensitive enough to feel a tiny pea through 20 mattresses and 20 feather beds. This princess had passed the queen's clever test. The prince jumped to his feet. "You are a real princess," he shouted with joy. And faster than you can say happily ever after, the prince asked the princess to marry him. And guess what? She said yes. As for the pea that helped them find true love, they didn't throw it away or cook it for dinner. No way! They put that special pea in the Royal Museum, where it sits to this day. unless, of course, someone has taken it. And that, my dear listeners, is a true story. Well, maybe not totally true, but it's a good one, isn't it? Thank you for listening, and I hoped you liked this story. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I have plenty more fairy tales for you.